Hey, bread baker, do you know what a Lievito Madre is? A what? Lievito Madre is Italian and means mother of yeast. And this is a kind of sourdough. So if you already bake your bread and your rolls with a sourdough, like a rye or a wheat sourdough, you may consider preparing a Lievito Madre, because this gives excellent taste and texture and also crust to your bread and your rolls. The Lievito Madre, this one, has been standing in a warm place for 4.5 hours. So that means I fed it 4.5 hours ago, and I will probably leave it there for another 1.5 to 2 hours, so it may rise a little bit more. And the difference between the madre and a normal sourdough like rye or wheat sourdough is that the sourdough is more fluid or soft, and the madre is much firmer. So that means when you feed it, you cannot just stir it with a whisk. You really need to knead it with your hands. In the video, I will show you how to prepare a Lievito Madre from scratch. So that means from the beginning. And you will see all the necessary steps. And I will also link the recipe for the madre so that you can prepare it yourself. So enjoy it, and good luck with your new sourdough, your Lievito Madre. So we need 200 grams of wheat flour type 550, then 100 grams of rather warm water, can be between 35 and 40 degrees. Then we need 25 grams of honey, preferably regional honey, and 15 grams of olive oil. So we will need these 4 ingredients. Of course, you can also do that by hand. Until it's a nice ball. Okay, I've kneaded the dough now for 1.5 minutes, and it's got a nice texture. We'll finish a bit by hand. As I said, you can also just knead by hand. You don't have to use your kneading machine. Okay, and it looks like this. We will now put it either into a jar and cover it with a lid, or you can also put it into a bowl and cover it with cling film. And then we will leave it for 2 days at room temperature. And the ball or the dough should at least have doubled in this time, can even have tripled. So we'll meet again in 2 days. Before we go over to the next step, I would like to draw your attention to my bread baking courses. I have 2 levels of courses. One is baking bread and learning English. That is the so-called basic course. And then I also offer a baking sourdough bread and improving your English course. So this is for more advanced bread bakers, and we include sourdough and Lievito Madre in our course. And it's a practical way and a hands-on way to learn how to make the dough, how to stretch and fold the dough, how to transfer the dough from the proofing basket to either your fire brick or to your cast iron pot. So if you want to find out more, if you want to find out the details, prices, the dates, of course, the content of the courses, and just visit my website www.ulrikemahl.de, and there you will find out that it's a very intensive course because there are only 4 participants, so not a big group like 20 or more people. Okay, 2 days after starting our sourdough Lievito Madre, we will continue now with the second step. And therefore we will take a starter, and we need 100 grams of it. You can again use your kneading machine, or you knead by hand. Okay, 100 grams. Then we will add the same amount, so that is 100 grams of wheat flour type 550. Then we'll add 50 grams of warm water and 5 grams of honey. We will knead this until it's nicely mixed. Okay, so I've kneaded it for 1.5 minutes. And by the way, my cameraman said that I should tell you my secret, that my kneading machine has a scale in it. So that's why I didn't need to weigh the sourdough starter. Okay, a little bit of kneading by hand, and then you would put it into a fresh jar and put the lid on it, and we will leave it at room temperature for another 1 to 2 days. It depends on how you have time and the temperature in your kitchen, of course. The rest of the sourdough starter can be used in another dough, so a yeast dough. When you bake rolls or bread, you can use this. You just add it, and you don't have to throw it away. Okay, so see you again in 1 to 2 days. Okay, so this is round 3 of preparing a Lievito Madre, and it has been standing at room temperature for about 30 hours now. So I said in round 2, 1 to 2 days. And now I'll take 100 grams. Oops. 100 grams of the Madre and half the amount of water, a bit more. Okay, 50 grams of water, warm water. And first I will stir it and try to mix it nicely. Okay, and when it's almost dissolved, you will add 100 grams of wheat flour type 550. You can take a spoon, stir it a bit, and then it's best to move it to your table. Okay. And then you can knead it by hand until it's a nice soft mixture. This takes a minute or two, and then I'll show you how to continue. So you can roll it a bit over your work surface, and it's rather sticky at the beginning, but it's getting better. And then you form it almost round like this, put it into a jar. Okay, wait a second. Cover it with a cap. Then you will leave it at room temperature for 4 to 5 hours. And afterwards, you take the lid of the jar and cover it, and then you can put it into the fridge for 2 to 5 days. And then you would take care of it again. So it's always the same procedure. You take, for example, 100 grams of the old starter, the old Lievito Madre, and half of it of water, so that would be 50 grams of water, and 100 grams of wheat flour type 550. And then you would refresh, so to say, your madre once a week, or between 5 and 7 days. Especially at the beginning, you can also do it a bit more often, like every 3 to 4 or 5 days, and then it will get more active and more active with each refreshment. And as I said in round 2, the old sourdough starter or madre can be used in another bread dough, in a yeast dough, because it's not as a normal sourdough starter like rice sourdough. It's not rather intense in taste, and also in smell. It's soft and a nice addition to the taste of your bread dough or your bread in the end. Okay,